That last one won't age well because thumb drives won't be around for long. Like me, I'm out. It's vlogging day 1135. Yeah. Good morning. The intro character is equating you know that it's nearing the end of the line. Today's day 7. And this week I wanted to dedicate a little bit more time to reflecting on the last 3 years. Because I've been vlogging every day for the last 3 years with one small break between seasons 1 and 2 and no break between seasons 2 and 3, which was a huge mistake. But I've had a good run. I've had a really good time vlogging every day. And as many of you know, it's coming to a close. Like, this is going to be the last time I vlog daily for at least a while. I'm not saying I'll never pick it back up again in the future. And clearly I'm going to keep making videos. But for a bit here, it's going to be done. And what does that look like? I'm not entirely sure, but I do know what the last few years have looked like, and it's pretty interesting, I think, for me to take a moment and draw some contrast between when I first got here in Paris a couple years ago and where I am today. Also, the sun, I just barely didn't beat the sun breaking over the building horizon in my courtyard. So I need to get coffee anyways. Let's go grab that. The most obvious way in which my life has changed over the last 3 years is that I'm in Paris. When I started vlogging every day, I didn't know I would end up here. I really didn't. I knew that I wanted to come back. I've always wanted to come back ever since I lived here the first time, but I didn't know that was in the cards. How outrageously fortunate that I'm even here. It's a huge change, life-saving change. This is another pretty obvious one, the fact that I'm not walking. I'm walking less, more wheel time. Although, to be fair, the inversion from when I first got to Paris and now, I'm walking to wheel time because I was a bike tour guide the first summer I was here. And what's so crazy to think about is how, like, I was in such rough shape. All my plans were kind of coming unhinged in so many ways. Like, obviously getting here was a wonderful surprise and something that saved my life. But at the same time, even getting here and the plans that I had, once I got here, falling apart to where things have come now is a really big contrast. I don't know how many of you know this. Some of you may not even realize that I had been a bike tour guide back in the day, but I was a bike tour guide for a summer. And in being a bike tour guide for that summer, it wasn't because, like, I came into my time in Paris thinking, like, I'm gonna be a bike tour guide and it's gonna be great. Can I cross here? No. That wasn't really the case so much as I thought I was gonna be teaching English, and the school, while accepting me, didn't have work for me for 6 months, and so I wound up, you know, really desperately needing some work. And if you think about it, where I was at back then, basically doing whatever job I could get my hands on just to make sure that I was making enough money to make ends meet, to now, where I get to focus on being a, you know, whatever it is that I am now full time. It's a pretty amazing contrast. Unfortunately, coffee is closed. Thank you, August. They even have their bushes in front of the door. Okay, well that definitely settles that. I can make coffee at home, that's fine. That was more of an exploratory trip for Jenica because she was asking if they were open. And sorry, Jenica, they are not. But I also, this is random, I'm getting back to the weight that I was when I started, so that's a good full circle. I came a little bit skinnier than I was about to leave, but thankfully weighed in today at 209. Making progress. That's another 2 pounds down, halfway to my goal. I think I'm gonna celebrate. Last time I was down 2 pounds, I celebrated with a milkshake. This morning I'm gonna celebrate with a pain au chocolat. Bonjour.
Le chocolat, est-ce que vous avez?
Pain au chocolat, on n'a plus.
Non.
Il y a des petites baguettes tradition.
Ça va, en fait, 2 croissants, ça me va bien. I need to get a better kettle for this. That was the worst pour for a bloom ever. I mean, look at this place, for example. I have a Chemex, which is nice. That's a nice change. That was a gift from Kylie, if you remember Kylie. This place got put together largely thanks to my landlady who paid for the bed to be put in, as well as a bunch of you who helped pitch in for things like the couch and the TV, the rug on the floor. Lots of really cool stuff that's made this my home. Back when I first moved in here, I was literally sleeping on a mat in the corner here where the couch and stairs are. A mat that actually I still have, and I need to, it's like a rolled up foam mat, and I need to take it down to the office because it could serve as extra sound buffering. And it's earned that place, I suppose, in my life because I slept on it for years. But what a huge change to be here and go from sleeping on the floor to sleeping in a cloud. I mean, really, like how amazing is that? I have 2 stories in here now, and it's completely changed how I feel about this room. Like I was always grateful for it, always grateful to have a place to sleep. But now it feels like cozy, feels like home, feels separate. I was already able to keep my work separate when I had it on my desk. It was a huge move because even though I already had a table here and was able to do my work here and then sleep back over there, sleeping upstairs and having a couch here with a TV so I can sit and watch a movie every once in a while has really separated things out to the point that it feels like, okay, work is here and sleep is upstairs, and I feel like that was a huge, huge change for me. Even having this space, like to myself, these shelves, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if I really filmed in here very much, but this space back here was full empty boxes, really old stuff that my landlady didn't even know what was down here. And when I finally got through and actually convinced her to let me move it to the garage and use the space myself, turned out most of it was just empty anyways. And it's made a huge difference. And of course, Jenica just helped me to get a little bit of the organization in here a little bit better. And we're gonna store some bags for her and her mom, I guess for her mom, because obviously they didn't make it back with her in the garage for now, but it was a good opportunity to come in here and clear up some space. And now the bike actually fits really easily, where before I was just kind of shoving it in and then having to weasel my way past it. So thanks, Jenica. But an even more dramatic change than getting my storage organized or being able to separate work from sleep by having a desk and a bed way above it was moving my desk and moving my computer all the way downtown to my office. I mean, just look at this place, right? Like what a huge change this is to go from working in coffee shops, which has been driving me crazy for a long time. Not that I love working in coffee shops, don't get me wrong, but coffee shops here are an extra challenge for a number of reasons. 1, you never know when they're gonna kick you out for like a meal or something. 2, there's no space. 3, the Wi-Fi never really works, or they don't have Wi-Fi. There's all kinds of reasons that it's kind of a challenge. But the fact that I have this place to call my own, I mean, I hope it lasts. It would stink if it didn't work out, right? But like, how cool is that? How cool is all of this? When I first got here, and going back to the very beginning of the vlog, 3 years ago when I started vlogging every day, I thought, you know what, I've got potential with my books, got potential with Boomerang, my life's gonna go great one way or another, like I'm about to strike gold, things are gonna go huge. And things went totally like nuts in the worst ways possible. And it was so hard, and it was such a big challenge. And I'd been in such a dark place for such a long time, and I got so lucky that I ended up coming here. And one of the things that I have talked about before, but I haven't talked about in a really long time, is how vital vlogging really was for me in the midst of all of that. Like, it's not an exaggeration to say that it saved my life, in the sense that it gave me a creative outlet, it gave me a connection to friends that were in other places, and introduced me to some new people that I never would have met otherwise. And even though nobody was watching when I first started, and I was lucky to get 50 views on any given video that I posted, it was so worth it, because I knew that I was creating a journal for myself. I knew that I was creating something to look back on, no matter what happened, good or bad. And it was a way for me to stand and talk like this. And instead of doing garage monologues in Spokane, in my parents' garage, where I was like happy and very fortunate to have my parents, but also miserable to be, over 30 years old and forced to move back in with my parents so I could try to start a company that would ultimately fail, to be here now and able to do this kind of office monologue is a fantastic gift, and I'm so grateful for it. I've come so far, and I need to stop and really be grateful for that and verbalize it and kind of just love it for a minute. And I am so glad that I had the opportunity to share it. I'm so glad that I did actually record all of this, because it makes it that much easier potentially to look back and see where I was at, to see how rough of shape I was in. And even though I'm tired now and I'm really ready for a break, it's a happy kind of tired. It's a satisfied kind of tired, where 3 years ago I was exhausted because I was burned out and broken and sad and just struggling. And now I've toted burnout a little bit, but it's been doing something that I love in a place that I love with people that I really enjoy and that I love, and I'm just genuinely really excited for whatever the future holds. So as we move into the rest of this week and I hit the rest of the last days of my vlog, I really want to take some time to stop and reflect and look back on certain things that I'm grateful for, things that I've learned, things that I wish I would have learned sooner, whatever it is. I have a number of things that I've written down, but of course I'll try to be flexible with it in case a better idea comes along. I'm so grateful for where I am at today. And even if it's just 1 or 2 steps closer to where I want to ultimately be someday, it is amazing that I've even been able to make these couple of steps, because I struggled for years just to make the first step. And I'm so glad that I finally managed to find 1, maybe 2 of those steps along the way. However you end up quantifying it, I'm a really lucky guy. And I'm really fortunate to be here, really, really fortunate to have this place, to have these lights, to have improved the sound, to have this camera, to have everything that I have. I'm so grateful for. And I was in such a dark place 3 years ago, and I'm so grateful that you're here to watch as well. So that's kind of what this week's gonna shape up to be, is a little bit of a reflection point. Let me know, of course, if you have any burning questions in the comments. I don't know that I'll be able to get to all of them, but I will try to cover some of those things. And of course, we'll try to do another Q&A in the next couple of weeks with Eddie, actually. For those of you that remember Eddie from the Louvre video, he's been dying to sit down and interview me. So we might be able to weave some into that. And if nothing else, 40K is coming in the next few months. So I suppose we could do a 40K Q&A down the line as well, in case you're curious about something that I just haven't talked about, or maybe you missed, or maybe you just don't want to mine your way through 1,135 different vlogs. Holy smokes. Here we are. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for day 6.